So we continue our conversation today on access to market and being ready to be able to access that market. Now, what Deborah just discussed with me this evening is an information that is required. Imagine we didn't have this conversation and you just got a contract, and some people will get a contract and sign like that and ship and hope that payment will be made. If payment is not made and the person have a loss, that's a sign that is not ready to get into that market because of knowledge gap. Because of knowledge gap. I'm just trying to emphasize why the conversation we are having or we have been having in terms of readiness for the market is so important. So important. So we are continuing the 3 criteria for export readiness today. And today we are looking at positioning, that's under capacity, and then people. Positioning and then people. Positioning and then people. Positioning has to do with goodwill and heritage that the business currently has, that has positioned it for credibility both in the local and export market. The fact that a business is already established in local market, having larger market share, having local customer with affiliate abroad, receiving unsolicited order is a sign that the company is well positioned to go abroad. It's a sign that the company is well positioned to go abroad. This criterion is the core of export readiness because the goal of fulfilling all the other criteria is to position the business for the export market. Being export ready is invariably being positioned to take advantage of opportunity in the export market. The local market demand for a product is a sign that the product is good enough to generate interest abroad. This is a sign and successful proof of positioning. And it also shows that there are potential customers or consumers in the export market because people are already asking for the goods. For commodity, you don't need to worry because commodity, you already know there is a opportunity, like the one that I was discussing in Deborah. Ginger, you all know that one. By the time you know, if you are doing commodity, you already know there is a market. So there is opportunity in the market. It's for finished goods that this particular positioning become very important for, because you might be producing a finished goods that you are not sure if the market will accept it, even though the local market wants it. The reasonable local market share is a sign that the product does not just have demand in the local market, it's also a force to reckon with in its category. And this might be as a result of competitive pricing, product quality, and effective marketing and distribution. So local market demand is key. The fact that the business is able to achieve this in the local market is a sign of readiness to take up a reasonable share in the export market. To take up a reasonable share in the export market. The direct or indirect affiliate abroad is a sign that the business has foreign relationship in its network. And this can assist with information on contract, documentation, or even strategy in the export market. So positioning is key. Positioning is key. A business that is positioned in the local market stand a chance in the export market. So the question we should ask ourselves is, the product you have right now, what is the demand in the local market? Are there people showing interest in it? Are there people showing interest in it? If there are people showing interest in it, fantastic. Particularly if you are now targeting Africans abroad who are likely going to be interested if people locally are already interested in that product. If you have a product nobody is interested in locally, does not mean there is no market abroad, but you now have to find a niche market because the chance then is slim. For example, there are some products that people export from Nigeria that there's no demand for it locally. But Nigeria produce it, but there are people abroad that want those products. People export cow horns, cow hoof, cow bone. You rarely have anybody asking for those products locally. But there's a huge demand abroad. So let's ask some of the questions. How will you evaluate the goodwill possessed by the business, both locally and abroad? Is there a goodwill abroad? Goodwill reputation is so critical. How will you evaluate the share of the business in the domestic market? How will you evaluate the level of unsolicited orders received by the business? If you are selling a product in the local market that other people are selling, you should have an idea of your market share. Are you the market leader in that category? You should have an idea. You should be able to investigate why. That helps you to be able to know what your competitor is doing vis-a-vis your product, and what you will have done differently to have a good share of the export market. How will you evaluate the level of foreign affiliates in the network of your firm? Your business, do you have network abroad? Or do you have relationship with a firm locally that have branch or network abroad? You can actually leverage on the foreign affiliate of your local partner to get market abroad. If you are not actively marketing your product abroad and people are showing interest, that's a good sign. I remember the lady I export her product. Sometimes she will get a call. Ah, we saw your product in Tesco. We bought your product in Walmart. How can you supply us directly? It's not marketing. They saw the product and they want to distribute. Can you imagine? They saw the product, they want to distribute without him marketing them and telling them to help. This is very important. They are good signs. There's a lady. I'm sure some of us know her. She was telling her story that she became an accidental exporter. Okikiola said, I got a lot of short calls too without marketing to them. Brilliant. Those are signs that your product has potential in the export market. Getting calls without marketing. That's a sign that you must consider export, or you should consider export. You should consider export. And it's so important. Why? People are already showing interest in your product. Without marketing. So this lady said she produced bags in Ibadan. When she travels, she will carry her bag. Very colorful. Some ladies in Europe will see the bag at the train station and they ask her, I like your bag. Where did you get it from? And she'll respond, I made it. Do you need one? I made it. Do you need one? And they say yes. And they can begin to discuss business from there. She said she has to become a deliberate exporter because she was accidental exporter. She now become a deliberate exporter. If no one is interested in your product in the domestic market, most likely no one will be interested in the export market. Most likely. Interesting. How will you evaluate the loyalty of your customer to your business offering in the local market? Let's move on now to people. You know, I think it was the first or second session we had that I talked about people. I think it was the first or second session we had that I talked about people. Who are the people? This has to do with final consumer of the product in the export market. To be successful in the export market, a business needs to understand its typical consumer. The demographic of the consumer, the reason why they buy, the way they buy, what they often are interested in when they buy, and their mindset in general. A good understanding of the people who are consuming your product in the export market will make the product design and packaging to be suited to the need of the consumer. If the people you are targeting are children, you need a very colorful, attractive package. Something that will make children excited. When they see it, and they can easily identify it because of the uniqueness of the way you have put it together. A good understanding of the people who are consuming the product in the export market. We make the product design and packaging to suit the need of the consumer in the export market. So here is the concept of the 6W we talked about some months ago. I think it was in January. The who, the why, the what, the when, the which, and the where of the customer in the foreign market. The who. The who of the consumer involved understanding the demography of the customer, their financial capability. This means the promoter needs to know the age range of the consumer, the gender that buy the product the most or that use the product the most, the income level, which influence the social status of the consumer, the level of education attained by the consumer, the family structure, the life stage and occupation of the targeted consumer in the export market. This is so much to know about your customer. But you know what? The more you know your customer, the easier it is to get them with your marketing effort. The easier it is to get them with your marketing effort. This is very important, ladies and gentlemen. Then the why. The why. The why. The why of consumer involves understanding the psychographic of the consumer, the activity, the interest, and opinion of the consumer, their lifestyle, their concern, when they buy, their personality type, what they value, and their attitude to life in general. The why. Then the what. The what involves understanding the behavior of the consumer in the export market. This means the promoter needs to know the benefit that the customer is looking for in the product. So when people buy your product, what do you think they are looking for? And by that, I mean, what is their motivation for buying your product? By that, I mean, what is motivating them? What is the motivating factor? What is motivating them to buy your product? Then the when. The when of consumer involves understanding of the timing and the season of purchase by the consumer. This means the promoter needs to know the time of the day, the week or the month when the consumer buys. Cover the period of the year when the consumer buys the product the most. This is particularly important when the buying decisions are influenced by weather. For example, I export pap. During winter, people take a lot of tea and people take a lot of pap. So as an exporter of pap, I'm competing against Starbucks coffee. I'm competing against Starbucks coffee. Even though, now, can you see something? I don't sell coffee, but I'm competing against Starbucks coffee. Why? Why? Because the reason why the people that bought the coffee bought it is the reason why they are buying my pap. So we are competitors. Only that we are indirect competitors. The worth of the two products is the same. What they are buying is heat inside. In both cases, generating heat inside to reduce the cold or the impact of the cold. That is what they are buying. That's why they take a lot of coffee. That's why they smoke. Some of them. Why? Heat inside. The wish. This involves understanding the way the consumer buy. This means the promoter needs to know preferred options of the consumer at any point of purchase. At the point of purchase. This involves knowing the variant of the product that consumer buy the most. That's why if you are into production, you have different products. Don't sell one product. If you're into commodity, you can afford to sell one product, but if you're into production, don't sell one product, please. You should have option of the product you are selling. The variant of the product the consumer buy the most. This could be based on shape, size, volume, flavor, spices, color, constituent, sources, and material that the product is made of. Anything can be the reason that determines the option they buy the most. Then the where. This is the geography. The country that buy the most, the city in that country that buy the most. Why is this important? Your advert can easily reach your target audience if you know your target audience. And by knowing, you know the what, the why, the who, the when, the which, the where of the customer. It's called the CW of consumers. To be ready for export business or the export market, ask this question. How will you evaluate your company understanding of the demography of the customer, of his product, consumer of his product in the target market? How will you evaluate the company understanding of why consumers currently buy competing products in the target export market? How will you evaluate your company understanding of the purchasing power of the consumer in the target export market? How will you evaluate your company's understanding of the packaging requirement of the consumer in the target export market? How will you evaluate your company's understanding of the labeling requirement of the consumer in the target export market? If you know your people, you know if you have to you will know if you have to change the label, modify the label. To suit what they want. To suit what they want. So how will you evaluate the company understanding of packaging requirements for consumer in the target export market? Where are you shipping to? What is their packaging requirement in that market? And now we evaluate your company understanding of the labeling requirement of the consumer in the target export market. In the target export market. All right. Let me take your comment and question before we close today. What are you learning from the people and what are you learning from positioning? Yes. Oh, we have just 5 people today. A number of us are not able to make it. Jose, good evening. How are you?
I'm fine, sir.
Yes, tell me, what have you
learned? Thank you. I've learned a lot of things, you know, as in the labeling stuff that you are talking about. I always say that my product is somehow peculiar. Like now, if I do ready to wear, if I export, you know, I can't put my phone number on the label. Can I put my phone number on the label?
Why
I can't put my phone number on the label.
Why? Why can't you put your phone number?
Okay, I can put my phone number on the clothes label.
Yes.
Okay.
The clothing is packaged now. Is it not packaged?
You know, I will send it to the person I want to export it to. Maybe I will put what, maybe I'm going to do something that she will package it there. Or maybe I will think of
your product should be packaged and put in a wrapper or nylon that have a label on it.
Okay, sir. Okay. I understand now. Okay, sir.
You know, it's so important for you to put your label on your product because you don't know who will see it and call you.
Okay. Okay. Like my textile now, I used to put, I want to share a brief testimony. Like my textile, I used to put a sticker on my package. Everybody knows it. There was a day that I was just going, somebody just called me. And then the true label just bring it out. And that's, and the person is the first lady of Osun State, you understand? And I was thinking, and I remember that there was a exhibition they did in Osun State that they invited me to do exhibition. And she picked some stuff from me. And that is why we connect together. Most of the time, she will look at my DP, even the training I do for women. Sometimes she will sponsor some women. You get what I'm saying? But she will check my DP. Sometimes if she sees something she like on my DP, she will just chat me up that send this thing to my office. That's if you know, I've been thinking that I would like package the ready to wear. That I've been thinking of it, but what to say tonight? I have an idea that I will use, Sha.
You should not joke with ensuring that your name, your logo, your contact is on any product you are selling, unless you are doing raw commodities. Even on raw commodities, the bag you are using, you can put your detail on the bag.
Okay.
As if you are using like the brother doing ginger, you can still label that ginger and put your contact detail on the bag. Rather, because you are going to buy that bag, why can't you put your contact on it? Because the issue is you don't know who will see it and will be interested. And because you don't know who will see it and be interested, you want to put your detail on it. Just in case, you don't even have anything to lose doing that. Rather, you have everything to gain. I would like to see your design and your labeling on that product.
Okay, sir.
All right.
I'll work on it. I'm not in Lagos now. I'm in Osun State. I'm doing training for women. I'll come back next week. I'll work on it.
So you are training them on what exactly?
I do is the program is Train a Trainer Women Empowerment Initiatives. I train them on vocational skill and some enterprise skill. Like now I train like 20 women, some people on direct textile, some on makeup, and some on bead making. I didn't force them on only Adire.
Okay.
And after the training, those people in Adire section, like I started in December, some of them, they are working for me now. And we are doing graduation on Monday for the people for this batch. And they promise that they don't want to leave me. If I get to Lagos, I'll be sending raw material they'll be producing for me. Then I'll be giving them a token.
You see? You're building your capacity by empowering others. You're building your capacity to produce by empowering others.
Yes, that's what I tell you the other time, that that I have some structures that I've started last year. This is the second edition of it. Like I have like 6 women doing that directly. If I get to Lagos, I will send them raw material. I have an office. I have a whole building I use as an office in Osogbo here, Osho State.
Interesting. Deborah, what have you learned tonight?
Yeah.
What do you say, sir?
I'm talking to Deborah. I thought you are done.
Okay, sir. Mine is a question on the processing aspect of my ginger powder.
Okay.
Talking about this adding our label, I find out that when it comes to the marketing is a problem, especially if there is if you are marketing your products on a marketplace, right? Or if you are using some stores, like there is a store in Canada that actually wanted some product from some women in Nigeria. Okay, yeah, I think they are in Alberta. So when we sent our product, they were asking us why did we put our contact details, our phone number, because they actually wanted, once anybody sees our product, they can reach us through them. Do you understand? So we told them this is NAFDAC requirements, that if we alter anything, we are going to pay 500 and something thousand for NAFDAC, because that was what we signed when we are getting those numbers. So we're thinking that was just only Canada. Then when I came back, I also decided to just put some of my product in Jumia and Konga. The same thing again, Jumia. The very day I put my product, that very day I got an order. Somebody placed order for 2 packs of ginger powder and 1 pack of turmeric. Mine is big. Mine is not like this spices. It's like this your Milo refill. This your 500 gram, right? So 4,500 times 3. And when I took it to Jumia office, and they were like, I should look for something and clean this number, because my number is, I have my number, my phone, my email, and my contact. I should look for something and clean this till I find what to do with it. And I said I can't tamper with it because that is NAFDAC specification. So when you are dealing with some of all those people, I think, especially marketing, there are some people that have a problem when you put a means where people can reach you directly.
This depends on individual you are dealing with. So if Okikiola is sending a product, sorry, I said Okikiola, Bossa is sending a product to a buyer, the buyer have a contact detail. But if I'm sending to someone who wants to resell, of course, we want me to put contact detail. But a person that doesn't want to put contact detail want to buy in bulk. Of course, I want to do that also because I need him. So we need both people who are doing retail or small quantity and those that are doing large quantity. Because I want to sell, I can always adapt myself to anybody. So when you say you must do NAFDAC, you must leave it in NAFDAC. You won't use your package for them. Now, just sell to them in bulk. Those people, for example, you can sell to them without any labeling. If you sell to them without any labeling, maybe in fact, some people will say send it in sack as a bulk shipment. They will repackage over there. That's good for you. That reduces cost for you. They will do the packaging over there. So for me, both are okay. It depends on if I'm distributing through a channel. I need to be able to ensure that the channel I'm distributing through is comfortable with what I'm doing. So if they're not comfortable with me leaving the name, then that's a challenge.
Yes, I was going to.
Yes, go ahead.
I was going to come in there. Thanks for the explanation. I was going to tell her, depends on the client you are dealing with. Last, she tells me she wants white labeling. We call it white labeling or branded.
Yes.
It's the yeah, you just produce for her without your label.
Yeah.
Probably before you, as you are shipping, your own label might be there, just for her to be able to, for them to be able to identify what product is it. As soon as it gets there, because you are giving her in 50 kg, like my beans flour now, I give her in 50 kg bags. So she gets there, it's even good for me. I just process and no headache of packaging. I just pack them into big sacks.
I don't think you understand my question. I understand.
No, I understand. I'm coming somewhere. So when they say they don't want their number there, it's because they want to capture their own customers. They don't want them to be coming to you. That's why they don't want your number there. Yes, they want the customers to call them instead of you. When the customer calls them, and then they'll be able to tell you, yeah, produce more. You understand? So it depends. For customers that want such, I do it for them without my number. Some will say, okay, they want to do their own label and put my own number and put their own number in my label. So far, is buying from me, or she's buying from me. I allow it. But if there are customers that will just uptake from you, your numbers will be there. So it depends on the agreement.
You don't get me. We are still saying different. I understand white labeling and understand contract manufacturing. What I'm saying is you have some buyers that wanted your brand the way it is. For example, my brand is soul food.
They want your brand the way it is, but without phone number.
They even want my NAFDAC number.
But they want their own phone number.
They just want a way where you can just cover that way, cover that place where they cannot reach you. Jumia, for example, I just gave a local example. Jumia is part of it. Jumia, if you for example, if you are bringing a branded product from NAFDAC, you have to open a store under your brand name.
Yeah.
So you have to bring a product that have NAFDAC and everything. They want that, but they don't want that aspect of that your contact address. How do you manage it? I'm not talking a scenario where a buyer wants you to produce for them. That's a total different thing.
I get your point. Now, so for me, if I have a buyer abroad, I've already done my printing, we can have an arrangement. I can print another label for you without my phone number. I can even put your own phone number on it. And I will use that for your shipment. But you must give me a guarantee. What volume are you buying? Because if I'm going to print this, maybe I need to print 1,000 copies per time. What quantity are you buying? So if you can have that kind of arrangement, I will do a different printing of my labeling and put their own phone number and remove my number.
That means it will not have NAFDAC.
No, it will have NAFDAC now. I'll put their phone number. Their phone number.
You are collecting.
Is your brand now? Is your phone? Is your brand? Is your name? Is your NAFDAC number?
Everything is mine. Can't my phone number change?
Use NAFDAC number.
My phone number can change now. If I change my phone number, can't I change on my label?
Only the phone number that will change. Is your brand? Is your product?
I can give them exactly the way they want it. I will just put their own number there. But the issue is that now I will print a minimum quantity that will be okay. But we need to have an agreement. I'm willing to supply you the way you want it, but you also need to give me guarantee that you'll be able to buy this because it's going to cost me money, or you pay for it. So we can find a middle ground on that so that we can be able to do it because it will help them. It will help me also. What do you think, Deborah?
I think it makes sense. It makes sense because it's not that there's actually trying to paralyze us because when you want to collect those numbers, they'll ask you to sign an undertaking stating that if you change any single thing, you pay 570,000 naira on the label.
Not like my.
What
if I lost my phone number?
With that number, I think it's making a whole lot of sense because I can change my phone number, right?
Yes, now I can change my phone number.
They might not even notice you have changed your number on it. They might not even notice your number.
They can't notice that one. They can't notice that one.
So I think it makes a lot of sense.
You people are talking as if they come to check your product every day.
They go to the big brands. They go to check the big brands, not us.
It's true. Okay, the big brands.
Let's hear from Okikola. Have you spoken?
No, I haven't.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I just start to think as you were saying that you export pap, and then you have indirect competitor in Starbucks.
Yes.
Because you give the both products give it is it they want. Yes. Now I start thinking about my own product now. Kuli. Who is my indirect?
No, snacks. You are competing with chin chin. You are competing with
plantain chips. Plantain chips.
Is that plantain chips? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Plantain chips. Anything that people buy, can a man go for? Anything people buy and eat between meals is competing with you.
That is not seasonal.
You said what?
I said it's not seasonal then. It's not seasonal.
No, it's no. That one is based on, not based on season. That one is based on the interest, what the people are getting. What they are getting there is filling their mouth and getting busy.
So which means my indirect competitors are biscuits, they are plantain chips, they are chips,
so that means
peanut butter.
Product cannot be too expensive. If an average plantain chips is about, let's say $1 or $2, you can't be selling your own at $10 or $5. You probably can do like $2-3. As in, you can't be too wide a gap.
Okay.
Between you and the people that are indirectly competing with you.
Okay.
All right. Zainab, good evening. Hello, Zainab. Zainab, are you there? Okay, I think Zainab is busy. Let's close. Thank you very much, everyone.
Sorry, lastly, how do we know the market we are capturing within Nigeria?
Okay. Zainab, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much. I have really been well educated on what you taught us now. From what I have heard from you, somebody like me, I would just prefer like a contract manufacturing method whereby I just look for those who will help me to export. I produce and give to them.
Yeah,
because the wahala in
that's another thing. That's another thing. I encourage that a lot.
Yeah.
What do you produce?
It's pepper I'm working on. Pepper, okay. Grounded pepper.
Okay. That's a very good one.
Yeah.
That you just produce for someone else to take over.
Yeah. Because the problem in all that, you save yourself a lot of problems, especially like people like us who have crossed to the other side a bit.
All right.
So thank you very much. Thank you very much. Maybe I will get in contact with you more.
All right. Deborah, you were trying to say something.
Now, I said I will get in contact with you more on personal ground. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, so you talked about some finding out about our market size.
Yes.
So locally, how do we really go about it? Because what I usually do is I just use the Google AdWords and AdSense. Is there any other better way that we will know we'll have a strong idea of our market size? Let's say I'm doing ginger powder now.
So for example, the easiest way to know is who are the people that produce what you produce? How much volume do they produce per month that they sell? How much volume do you produce that you sell? That gives you an idea of what your position is. That's a very rough estimate. So let's say you're in a particular, city. Let's say you're in Kaduna, for example. You need to know how many people produce exactly what you produce that you see in the market. Then you investigate what volume do they produce per month. So if there are 7 different brands, what volume do they produce per month? Maybe one person do 5 tons, another person 5 tons, another person 7 tons. When you add all that together, including your own production in a month, that gives you an idea of your own size, how much of the market, all of you are selling to the same market. That gives you an idea of how much market size you have. I don't know if that makes sense.
Is it possible to know the volume or the production volume of your competitor?
Oh, yes. If you want to investigate, you will. You get to meet their staff now. You find their staff. You know, people that do market research, they get this information. You will get to meet their staff. You find their staff. You call them on phone. You can even do like you want to buy and you want to know what they are following. They can meet your demand. You will get it. If you are looking for it, what you are looking for, you will find.
So what if you are trying to enter a market with a new concept? Okay, like for example, I started this pack, this 500 gram Okay, because I find out that most of the ginger and turmeric comes in you know, this
Small pack.
spice. Yeah, this spice is kind of our a small sachet. So I just felt, okay, what about if I have something like 500 gram, 1 kg for people that probably bake and they want ginger that they can mix with some of their cookies and all that, not just small. Also, people that even do some sort of tea and everything, like a kind of refill. So I actually went around and I'm like, okay, this is not common. Let me start doing this. But then trying to get competitors to learn from them, you find out that they
No,
really
so
have.
because you are now in a new category, you won't be able to do
Mm,
the analysis. If you are going to do, you are going to look at ginger in general, not just that one, but because you are setting a new category, which is a good way to think actually. You are setting a new category and you can carve a niche for yourself in that category because you are the first to come into this space. So you won't be able to do it the way I say you should do it, but what you will do is to do for market for ginger in general, not for the category of packaging that you do, which will give you an idea, at least to some extent, but will not be very accurate because the categories are different. But it's still a good way to do it.
okay. Okay.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone. See you next week. Have a wonderful weekend and bye-bye.
You too. Thanks,
And you
Coach.
too, sir. Thank you. And thank you, everyone. Bye.